Okay, here we go, our third and final installment. We've got a few really good points here to finish up, so let's take a look at the first one. Attention on Barb. And what she does here. There you go. All right. Okay, let's get started on this point. And look how far up Barb is in the court. So when you are up this far in the court, you can really play an aggressive, offensive type of shot. And she plays it cross court, but what I would encourage you, you've got both people back. We know one of the fundamental plays in this game with both people back is go up the middle. It's not that you're going to hit a winner, but what you certainly will be doing is opening up an angle to work with on the court. So she does play it cross court. Good aggressive shot. Okay, with both people back. I like Gail's thinking. It's just this is difficult to do when you're that far off the net, is playing a short ball back around the service line, but she's able to hit a pretty effective ball that's into the center, and here comes Amy. She takes this ball and takes the offensive behind it. And by Barb moving up, and this is one thing, you should always realize about the geometry of the court is when you move up, as you move up, you're increasing your available angles. The angle is always increasing. So if Barb's hitting this ball from the baseline, she's not going to go for a short angle. But when she's moving up to the net, as she's moving up more and more, this plays right into this natural short angle. And the reason this works so well, if we look at Amy, when you see your opponent back around the service line, there's room in front of them. If Amy were closer to the net, this is probably not the best play, but when she's back on the service line, there's room in front, and there's that short angle for a winner. So Barb, really well done. Would like to see you do that a lot more on the court. How many years have I been yelling at you to get up there? Okay, here's a real good point coming up. Let's take a look at this. Okay, beautiful move. Both of them using that lob as the approach shot. She goes short. Okay, there's a message coming up here in just a second, but let's go back to the beginning of the point and see how this thing starts off. There's the lob. And right off the bat, I love it, the reaction of both Gail and Barb on this. I'm sorry, I just have to use my circles here. And they use that as their approach shot. Someone's back on the baseline, so you come up, and the best thing to do is just come up towards your service line, because more times than not, especially when the lob goes into the backhand side, a lob comes back. But if that person is in good enough position back there and you see them step up, you're going to see a drive coming, which it does. And with both people back, okay, now here's where the interesting part comes in. Gail is going short. And what I'd like you to do is key in on Barb here, because I'll show you what happens. Instead of holding her position, see, Gail's come up into a relatively strong position. Okay. And there's the shot. Now, as this is going on, watch where Barb goes on the court. Now, this is a ball that's floating. But what happens here, she backs up on it. And by backing, if she moved up, look how high this ball is. I mean, what a ball to take out of the air. But by backing up, she's hitting off her heels, and Amy sees that. And Amy's moving in, recognizing that Barb's on her heels. And I think on this, Gail may want to consider backing up a little bit when the person in front of her sees what's happening, reacts in an aggressive way. So here's the ball popping up. And guess where Amy's going to go with this shot? Yes, she's going to go in Gail's direction. and that is the play that will finish the point. So in those kind of situations, from Barb's perspective, if she'd held her position, take it out of the air, this doesn't happen. But when Barb does back up and let it bounce, I think Gail needed to yield some ground on that. And good instincts from Amy to move up and go in that direction, because let's say, for example, Amy goes back to Barb on that. We pretty much know what's going to happen. Barb can take control of the point with her lob at that point, and by going at that opposite that person, you're not permitting that to happen. So let's take this forward. Let's go on to the next point. Okay, this is a good one. Interesting point. Okay, Gail's trying to take the offense. And Amy comes back with a good lob through the center of the court. And I love, if we look at Andrea's recognition of this, and Andrea loved to see make this move more often, where she's moving up and thinking offense, being aggressive. She moves up, and more times than not, a person lobbing from this deep in the court is going to lob short and will enable you to get your racket on the ball. But Barb does her good thing and hits that lob out of your reach. Here it is, Gail. Look at Gail, how Gail is readjusting her position, trying to prime herself to intercept the ball. And again, if we look at your positioning here, Gail, that when you're spending time on that service line, you can see how many times, more times than not, it works against you. So in this case, you win the point, but look where we're playing this ball from. And so when this ball is down at your ankles, and Andrea, when you see this, what you can do is simply scoot up here into the center of the court. And Amy, you hit such a good shot into her feet, but we can make the mistake of being too good of a spectator instead of moving up into the court, because it's tough, because Gail just is not hitting from a position of strength. The ball dinks, and we get caught a little flat-footed from both positions. And so again, this is one of these obvious visual cues on the court that when that ball's down at somebody's feet, assume they're going to hit the ball weak. Where do you need to be? Because that's really all she could do with the shot. As with most players, that's all you can really do. And as quick as Andrea is, that's a really tough ball to expect to be able to get in that situation. Okay? All right, let's go on to the next point here.
Okay, that's perfect.
Nuts. All right. So here's the lob that affects the switch. And Barb, thank you so much for coming forward. Gail, I think you're a little bit too far up, because look how deep Andrea is in the court. She's lobbing from the back of the curtain, and we're almost midway up in the service box. And if you're in Gail's position, you want to know what your partner's doing. And if you take a little glance, or you can sense your partner has come up, with your partner coming up too, it's just now you have to defend your own lobs a lot of the times. And when you're that far up in the box, that's going to be tough to do. However, what happens on this point, the lob comes back cross court. And I like what Amy's doing. Amy's kind of backtracking a little bit because her partner has been pushed back, and so she's trying to maintain good spacing on the court. She's in a defensive mode. Barb is in an offensive mode, and this is the opportunity you want to get. And even though you don't make it, this is a game of numbers, as I always say. And if you put that situation out there, for every 10 times you come in there, you're going to convert 7 to 8 of those, and those numbers are working in your favor. So important not to be disappointed with the end result, and reinforcing. This is where a little thing that can come into play that when you're in Gail's position and your partner has missed this easy shot, you can see Barb is a little disappointed in herself. Every good teammate, you walk right over your partner, give her a little pat on the tush and tell her, good play, let's do this again, keep coming in, okay? So let's look at one more point here to finish off this sequence. And, okay, coach, fire away and let's see what we have.
Okay, move up a little. Oh, God.
Okay, so good one to finish on. Okay, good recognition from Gail when to go in, because you've got a partner who's so capable in with Barb of hitting that ball deep and putting your opponents back on the defensive. And Andrea's able to go back cross court. So here it is, the ball has pushed Barb out of the picture. I'm just hesitating for a little bit because I'm looking at Gail's attention. It's always good. Take a little glance behind you and just see what's going on with your partner, because she's been pulled out of the picture, and I never like seeing this much room between two people on the court. Okay, here we go. There's that ball into the middle. Now let's see what Amy does with this shot. I like what Andrea's doing. She can see her partner. I love that because she took a little glance over there. She sees that her partner has control of it and is going to play a good shot. And she misses it, but there's something to be gained from this, and that is when you see your partner and has control of that ground stroke. And we can also see the available area here in the middle of the court. This is where teamwork comes into play, that I'm going to move forward. I know my smart partner is going to play this ball across the center. And assuming she doesn't miss this shot, let's say she makes that shot, we've got Andrea moving up into the court. So we're putting things together. So even when you miss the shot, understand that the strategy is still sound. And it goes back to, again, this is a basic play that you want to be able to do. Go low into the center, and the non-hitting partner react and move up into the court, because it's the right thing to do. It doesn't win all the points, obviously, but it's going to win a lot more points for you as a direct result of it. So this concludes our third section. And those were a lot of good points. All of you just, you can see almost a common theme. A lot of points look very similar to each other, and again, as you just polish up your positioning and your shot selection, this is how we keep taking steps forward in your game. So hope you enjoy these videos, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on the court again soon. Okay, thanks.